Do you share the views of Kapil Sibal where he says that, look, more needs to be done to recognize Ghulam Nabi Azad and possibly use his services for the Congress party?
I have always believed that these are national honors and coveted national honors.
Right.
They should be respected. And I find absolutely nothing wrong in Ghulam Nabi Azad accepting the award. And these awards should be recognized for what they are and should not be colored or viewed from the prism or perspective of which party is conferring the award on whom. And I think there is a limit to innuendo, there's a limit to pun or criticism by colleagues in such matters. And I think the language that has been used in the tweet to which you referred to is nothing less than a shameful innuendo, unbecoming of the traditions of the Congress party, unbecoming of the imperative need to maintain civility and decorum in political discourse.
You are, of course, referring to Jairam Ramesh's tweet. Let's show that tweet, please. Carry on, sir, with what you're saying. Yes.
So this is, as I said, a shameful use of language, unbecoming of the dignitarian ethos of the Congress party, and unbecoming of the traditions of the Congress party. This is a national honor, and I think we should rejoice in the fact that one of our own has been conferred with this honor.
In that case, why has this not been more celebrated within the Congress? As Kapil Sibal was saying, that shouldn't the Congress be going overboard and saying, this is wonderful, this is great, thank you very much, and congratulations, Ghulam Nabi Saab?
Well, you can be understated in certain things, but you certainly don't have to be denigrating about it. My problem is with the language used. My problem is with the kind of narrowness of vision that the tweet displays.
Right. You are referring again, once again, change that tweet to, yeah, go ahead, carry on, sir, yes.
And I'm talking that in the context of the words of that tweet. I find those objectionable, condemnable, reprehensible, and this kind of a language should never be used, not only for your own party leaders, but even for political opponents.
Ashwani Kumarji, those are extremely strong words, but it comes at a time when the Congress party faces all sorts of problems. So if a senior leader like you, says or uses those words against a senior leader like Jairam Ramesh, I understand you have a change in perspective. What are people outside the party expected to believe?
Well, it's left to the judgment of the people of this country. And let me tell you, political parties and political leaders are on test on a daily basis. They are judged not by what they say or proclaim, but by what they actually do. And I think the leader of the nation or the party that wants to lead the nation has to underscore its qualitative distinction. And my party has its own distinction. It has a glorious record. And I think it has a record where dignity is respected. And I think that this tweet is a gross aberration of that tradition and this mistake needs to be redeemed. I don't know how, but it needs to be.
Is that a perspective shared by Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi?
I don't know about that. I have not spoken to them, but I can tell you certainly about Mrs. Sonia Gandhi. Irrespective of how she views a particular individual or irrespective of her differences with anyone, she has been mindful of maintaining dignity and she's mindful of individual sensitivities. I can say this on the basis of
But then why have we not seen tweets or public comments from Mrs. Gandhi, Rahul or Priyanka? Congratulating Ghulam Nabi Azad in quite the same manner as we've seen others like Anand Sharma or yourself.
Well, I wouldn't want to comment on that. It is for them to decide what they need to do. I have given you a personal view, a view that I maintain consistent with my view that the end objective of every political leader is to maintain his own and others' dignity. Without that, there's no point being in public life.
So what about the opposite view? I take your point about the language used by Jairam Ramesh, which you object to. But Buddhadev Bhattacharya has, for example, turned down the Padma Bhushan and said that for him it doesn't work. It is a perspective. Why do you necessarily disagree, given the fact that you are so ideologically and otherwise opposed to the BJP?
I may be ideologically opposed to A, B, or C. I am not particularly ideologically inclined with the CPM as well. Right. But if Mr. Buddhadev Bhattacharya in his own wisdom, and I have great respect for the elderly politician who's deserving of the utmost respect by all of us, if he in his own wisdom has chosen to take a particular course of action, it doesn't mean that Mr. Ghulam Nabi Azad is not entitled to have his own course.
Sure. So therefore, sir, the final couple of questions. Do you believe this Congress leadership needs, as Kapil Sibal suggests, to use Ghulam Nabi Azad a lot more? That's what he said in his tweet. Ironic that the Congress doesn't need his services when the nation recognizes his contributions to public life.
Well, I don't think I need to comment on ABC's tweet. I have given you my perspective, and my perspective
No, so I'm not asking you to comment on the tweet in the case of Mr. Sibal. I'm asking you to comment on the view. It is an important perspective.
Yeah, the view expressed in his tweet. Anyway, so I'm saying I have given you my views, and my views are crystal clear. And the view is that nobody is entitled to demean anyone else.
Got it. Sir, final question to you. You lost another up-and-coming, promising, and a fairly senior leader, former Union Minister R.P.N. Singh, yesterday. And today we see these differences of perspective within senior Congress leaders. You and Jairam Ramesh, you disagree fundamentally. So what are people outside expected to believe? Senior leaders disagreeing publicly with each other, other senior leaders, former ministers, quitting the party and joining the BJP.
Senior leaders quitting the party is a bad omen. This needs to be reversed. But merely by saying this, we will not be able to reverse it. Obviously, different people have different reasons for quitting. And I don't want to make a general observation about who is right and who is wrong at a given point of time. I'm nobody to enter into the mental processes of people or to pass a moral judgment. But I do believe that senior leaders or anyone who wants to be in public life must have the guts to tell the people at large where they stand. Political democracy is about making your views known to the people and open yourself to their judgment. The people of this country are wise. They will decide in their best judgment who is on the right side of history and who is on the wrong side of history.
Right. But the fact of the matter is that you've still got these exits. And it's quite clear in the case of R.P.N. Singh that your senior leadership of the Congress didn't know what he was going to do. He was going to be a star campaigner in Uttar Pradesh. And just shortly before that was to take off, he's quit the BJP, quit the Congress, joined the BJP. So that being the case, is there not a big worry that, others would be wanting to perhaps quit as well? The relationship with Sachin Pilot is testy at best.
It's worrisome. It's worrisome. And I will not pretend otherwise. This is not a good sign. It's a bad omen, as I said earlier.
So why don't we hear Mrs. Gandhi say something? To reach out to top leaders, because there seems to be this chasm which still exists. I know you disagree with the term G23, but those leaders who feel that they need to be respected more by the senior leadership, ideologically all the same at one level, but yet this chasm. So should Mrs. Gandhi, Rahul and Priyanka do more to fix that chasm, go a bridge over it?
Well, first of all, I'm glad you said that I'm not a part of G23. But I do believe that the very minimum that every functionary of a political party expects is respect for his or her services, respect for seniority, respect for the right to have a different view.
Right.
Now, since this is in the public domain, since it has been, the tweet has come on the social media as in the public domain, therefore it has to be rebutted in the public domain.
Sure.
And that is why I'm speaking loud and clear.
Okay.
And I don't want to be ambiguous about it. There is no denying the fact that the language smacks of arrogance, of indignity, and of uncivility.
All right. Well, very strong words. Once again, Mr. Kumar, thank you very much for speaking directly, taking my questions. Thanks very much.